Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. And the first thing I'd like to say is if you're watching this when this video is released, then happy holidays to you guys, happy Easter. For just about every single school across the country now, it is the start of the Easter holidays. I know a few schools like mine broke up on Friday last week. Some schools are breaking up either tonight or tomorrow. So well done guys, you made it to the Easter holidays. You made it through the first few weeks back at school after lockdown. And hopefully it's all gone well for you and you're feeling ready. You're feeling tired because obviously it will have been hard work, but ready to have a nice relax throughout the holidays. And this video is going to be all about what's happening to school holidays and some of the changes that are coming up in the next academic year. But before we get into all that, I just want to remind you guys, make sure you relax on your holidays, okay? The holidays are not a time to do loads of work. They're definitely time to catch up on some bits. They're a time to get prepared, ready for the next term. But they're also a time for you to relax, to enjoy visiting your family. Now you can, now that the first step of lockdown has been released, and you can go meet up with other people or another household outside. So use that to your advantage. Go and enjoy that and make sure that you are refreshed and ready for when school comes back after Easter, because it's going to be a busy term. I know at my school we've got a 7-week half term, then 1 week off, and then a 6-week half term. So that is going to be crazy busy. We're going to try and fit loads in and hopefully we're back to a normal running of school with, as the lockdown steps are eased even more. So it's going to be really busy, so you need to make sure that you refresh and calm yourself down. Have a nice time off, ready to be back when Easter is over. Now to do that, today my partner has just gone out to meet some friends in a garden. So obviously she's following all the lockdown rules. There's less than, I think there's 5 of them meeting up, but they're all going to stay outside in the back garden and enjoy themselves. And I'm at home, I'm going to film this video, and then I'm going to go outside and just go for a bit of a walk, just enjoy the sunshine. Today is meant to hit 20 degrees, which if you know me, then you know I love summer, I love the hot weather, so I can't wait to get outside, work off some steam, and it'll just be so nice to get outside and see some sights that I haven't seen in a while. So anyway, we'll go on talking about the school summer holidays and what is changing now. So for as long as I've been a teacher, and even longer before that when I was still at school, there's always been rumours about the school holidays changing. And there's always been talks about, what do we need the 6-week holidays? Do the half term, should they be 1 week or 2 week? Do we need 2 weeks at Christmas and Easter? There's always been these questions about the school holidays, and are they the best thing, A, for the teachers at school, for the pupils at school, for the retention of the knowledge that the children are learning and for their skills? And there's always been questions about what is the best way to do it. And for as long as I can remember, these questions have been something where they've not really been messed around with too much. There's always been the questions, but they've never really been put into place. But as of September 2021, that is changing in some areas. And so today we're going to talk about what is happening in the local authority that's near to me in Doncaster. Now, in Doncaster, they put out a survey and a kind of fact-finding mission last year, and they were asking people about their thoughts on the summer holidays, having a few different options about what they could change to the summer holidays and what they could do. And they've announced that they are officially going to be changing their school holiday routine. Now, in a couple of minutes, I'll go into the detail of what those school holidays are and the changes compared to the normal school holidays. But this is quite a big thing, and this is the first time I've really seen that a council or a local authority has decided to change their school holidays. And not only that, but obviously for the council or local authority to make that decision, only the council maintained schools have to follow that. All the other schools can choose if they want to or not, but as far as I can see, lots of the academies and various other schools in the area are choosing to follow that same system. So it looks like it might be something that stays in place for a long time. So their school holidays next year will be pretty drastically different to the ones that are in the local authorities around, including the one where I work in Rotherham. So my partner and I are going to have some school holidays next year that are going to be completely different to each other, and that is something that we never really expected going into teaching. We always thought, you know, we're teaching in similar areas, we have the same kind of holidays, but they will be quite a lot different at times. And this is also something that is a bigger change compared to normal, because some authorities and some different areas around the country have some small differences. So often we have a friend that teaches in Lincolnshire, and her half terms are often the week after or the week before our half terms. Or my family down in London, they're only just breaking up for Easter at the end of this week rather than we broke up into last week. So there's some small changes like that do occur naturally and do often occur in different areas of the country. But these are a bit of a bigger change that is about to happen. Changes to the school holidays are going as follows. Now, next year in Doncaster, the school year will start at approximately the same date as it always does, and it will start early in September. But the first change will take place at October half term, and that is where that half term will be 2 weeks long rather than the usual 1 week. Now, Doncaster said this is because the first term is always the longest term that a school has to teach in. They have the longest 2 half terms joined together in the run up to Christmas, and it's always the hardest term for staff. So they've decided to give the children and the staff an extra week off in the middle of that half term, which will then be caught up later on in the school year. You'll see why later on when I get there. But it means that they'll be more refreshed coming into the second half term at the end of October after Halloween, and they'll be ready to get into their teaching and really have that extra energy to get through that longer second half term, as sometimes that can be a real struggle in schools, and by the end of it you're really just kind of dragging yourself getting through to Christmas. But they'll now have that extra week off where they have time to prep, extra time to relax and refresh themselves and get ready for the Christmas half term, which can be one of the longest and the busiest in schools, especially now we are hopefully past the coronavirus kind of restrictions in schools, and by next September they should be, as long as the roadmap kind of allows it, they should be gone, and we should be doing all the usual stuff that we love to do, like Christmas fairs, Christmas plays, Christmas concerts and all that fun stuff. So the first big change is their October half terms will be 2 weeks long. Now after that, their holidays kind of follow the same pattern as normally does. So their Christmas holiday will still be 2 weeks around the same time as normal, and their February half term will still be a 1 week half term. That's because the spring term, so the term that comes after Christmas and before Easter, is often the shortest one, and so they're hoping that by leaving that as a 1 week half term, that won't cause too many issues. It will kind of keep everything running smoothly, and teachers and children do not need that kind of extra bit of break at that point. The next big change that does happen is around Easter though, because as we all know, Easter follows the calendar, and Easter can move around. It can be very early in the year, it can be later on in kind of April, May time. It changes every single year, and so they've decided that their Easter holiday will be in the first full 2 weeks of April, no matter what or when Easter is. So their Easter might fall inside their 2 week holiday some years it might be completely outside of their 2 week holiday, but their Easter break will be in the first full 2 weeks of April every single year. Now again, they've said this is to help with schools preparing for SAT, because often when the Easter holiday moves around, it can cause some schools have really short half terms. I think last year, obviously we didn't because of coronavirus, but we were due to have a 4 week half term, I think it was a 4 week half term last year, because that was when Easter fell compared to when I'm fitting half term in, and it just all got a bit confusing. So they've decided, rather than having that confusion and sometimes having a really short half term and a long half term, they've just put Easter holidays bang in the middle of the school term, no matter what. And Easter weekend will come, and some days it will be in the holidays, some days it won't be, but overall it won't make a massive difference to the way schools are run and the way things happen inside. So that is the big difference, because again it means for like myself and my partner who are both teachers, some years we'll have our Easter holidays and they'll both coincide, we'll have 2 weeks off together. Some weeks they might overlap by a week, some years they might be completely different and we might have 2 weeks off separately. And that's just something that we obviously will get used to. It's going to be a bit of a strange one because we weren't ready for that when we became teachers. We were thinking we'd just have the holidays off together. But this will impact other people as well. So parents that have got kids, their children, if they go to 2 different schools in different local authority areas, might end up with holidays that's completely different. So they'll have 4 weeks, or the parents will have 4 weeks where children are at home if the holidays are completely separate rather than overlapping each other. So it's quite a big change for quite a lot of people. But hopefully, or at least we'll see in the next academic year, whether it's something that goes on and is a success or whether it ends up being changed back. Going on from there, the May half term is still only 1 week because again, this term is often quite a lot shorter, and so it's more easy to manage rather than having a shorter break or a longer half term and a shorter half term. But then the final change that's happening is the schools in Doncaster, their summer break will be 5 weeks rather than the usual 6 weeks. And this is where they catch up their extra week they had off in the October half term when they did a 2 week break then. It is put onto the end of the school term, so they work for an extra last week of July. Whereas most schools break up, it's like 1 week earlier, they'll be breaking up at the end of July, at the beginning of August next year. So again, this just means that they have that set kind of routine and they know how long their terms are without having a short and a long one, and they're working the same number of weeks over the whole of the school year, they're just slightly broken up. And Doncaster Council have said they believe that having this shorter summer holiday will help children's retention, because teachers know when children come back after their 6 weeks off, they have regressed a little bit and they do forget things that they learned when they left, and that is natural to happen over 6 weeks. And it depends on whether you think the 6 weeks holiday is worth it for that kind of catch up you have to do every year just by making sure the children have their summer and enjoy themselves and get to explore the outside when the weather's best, or whether you think actually it shouldn't be that long and it should be brought down a little bit and spread out elsewhere so there's not such a regression of children's knowledge when they are away from school. So that is up to you guys, and the big thing with this is I'd love to hear your points of view. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below on whether you think this is a good idea, whether you think actually this won't work and it will get changed back to line up with everywhere else, or whether you think other local authorities and other councils are going to end up following this. Because it's really interesting to me. I really want to see how it works and whether it will work well or whether it will change. So I'd love to hear from you guys as well. So that is the changes that are happening to the school holidays next year. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I just want to echo what I said at the start. please make sure if you are off school at the minute on holidays, be it a pupil or a teacher or some staff at school, make sure you're relaxing and enjoying yourself, because you can get sucked into doing loads and loads of work and going back to school, not having had the break, not having had the time off. And as I always say, teaching is an amazing job. It's brilliant and I love doing it. And one of the big perks is you do get a lot of time off, and it would be sad to waste it. So I'm going to make sure I enjoy it. I do have some work I'm going to do, and I will do it after this coming weekend, because it's not something I've mentioned before, and obviously I've saved it at the end of the video, because I know the people that are still watching at this point are the people that are really following the channel, and thank you so much if you are still watching right now. But my partner and I are getting married. When this video gets released on Tuesday afternoon, we'll be getting married in Wednesday. 4 days. We are getting married on Saturday morning. And it's been such a long wait. It was due to happen first off in August last year, and then it was due to happen in January, and obviously got cancelled again. And so hopefully this time round it will happen. It's just a very small ceremony with both the sets of our parents there, and I cannot wait to get married and finally say, yeah, we are husband and wife. And it will just be brilliant to have it done and be somewhere where we've been kind of feeling held back and not been able to do it for the past so many months, whereas actually now, you know, the sun's out today, we're feeling positive, it's a really good time, and I can say officially we're going to get married. So I can't wait for that. I hope you guys are having a lovely Easter break, and make sure you do relax, make sure you do the bits of work you need to do, but don't do loads and loads and feel like you've not had a break when you go back to school. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoy this, and as always, a new video every Tuesday and every Friday at 5 o'clock. I'm going to go out for that walk, and I will see you in a bit.